I was just reading Deuteronomy 28, and God's been really showing me just a lot about Israel and his people. A lot of y'all haven't read Old Testament, and some of you have. Deuteronomy 28, you read that chapter, you read chapter 29, read chapter 30, and at a certain point when you realize you are those people that are about to be cursed, you wanna renounce it. You wanna be like, no, like, you don't want that, right? But yet the Lord has spoken, right? You want to be able to fight through that spoken declaration, decree, vow, as he says, let it be announced, so heaven and earth may have this against you, as in there's witnesses, the most powerful witnesses, to testify to the Creator has set before you life and blessings, or death and curses. And then to see the consequences detailedly being broken down in death and curses. The despair, the brokenness, I will give you over into your enemy's hand. You will serve them. They will lend to you, and you will borrow from them, but you will not lend to them, and they will get high above you, and you very low, and you will follow their gods who you nor your father have known. And these people are that you're even going into, which are your enemies. They will not have a true rock, the rock. And they'll have their gods they believe in, meaning everything of who you're now a captive of is horrendous and horrible and abominations and wickedness. And yet the Most High is sending his own people into that, because he says, you stiff-necked people, and Moses is decreeing it while they're walking in their blessing. They're getting ready to get their blessing, but yet getting a curse at the same time, decreeing it over them. If you were stiff-necked yet while I was here, when I am gone, how much worse will you go astray? And it's like they're walking in to what they're seeing with their eyes, like we're finally doing it, and yet he's like, but yet you're not. You've heard but not perceived. You have eyes but do not see, and like ears but do not hear. And then there's people, the true children, Jacob, Israel, the true Israelites, the true Hebrews, the true Jews, have been in this curse. And many don't know how to ponder it, and they don't know the scriptures. They've been trying to figure out, why is it this way, and why has it always been this way, for what they've known as of what they would call life, right? Their measly 50 years or 70 years or 20 years, to not know what's already been written. And in one sense, you're like, well, all I'm hearing is curses, but I heard that other side, you mentioned blessings. And while that's true, but he spoke these things while they're entering into the land of Canaan, while they're entering into their promised land. He spoke it, that they were going to walk into these curses, that they were going to turn against him. So which one is it? Is it a blessing or is it a curse? It's a perplexion that who can really fathom? One could say, what was the point of taking them out of Egypt in the first place then? If you were going to break them that utterly bad, you're going to take them out of bondage and slavery, to then declare that they are your chosen people, to then, in this 40 years of their stiff-necked, hearted and just stubborn ways, declare a curse over them if they rebel, that is massively worse than anything they have experienced before. It makes Egypt look like a cakewalk. Like that, if that was suffering, I would take that all day at first glance. But then, yeah, you do see why. He says, because you provoked me to jealousy, and that he gave you something better than you had ever had before. So it's this double-edged sword of, I'm removing you from Egypt to bring you to heights you've never seen before, to blessings you've never had before. But yet, the double-edged sword is, but yet if you rebel against me, you'll have curses you've never had before. You'll have bondage at levels you've never had before. And so one could be like, well, I'd rather play it safe and just stick with Egypt and play it narrow, right? And I that's just what one could say, genuinely, right? But then it's like, God, why would you take them out of Egypt? To then just like massacre them, massacre me. It's my life. I've lived this. I do this. I know this. And this is the same thing even Moses is saying. Even the chosen one to lead them is saying, Father, what will the Egyptians say if you took them out of Egypt just to bring into the wilderness, just to kill them? And he asked the Messiah, he asked the Most High to repent, pretty much, and he does, but he does not, because ultimately the same will was done all along. God's wrath absolutely gets poured out, and he talks about, you will go through this suffering and persecution and trials until you're dead, until you die. And when you're reading through it, you're just like, this is endless. Like, this curse isn't getting revoked. And if you're reading at a certain time, you want to stop reading. You're just like, reading the curse is scary enough. And you're like, it just keeps going. Like, you're thinking like, oh no, this curse is only going to go for, a little season. And it just keeps going. And he's talking until they die. Until there's like few left. And you're like, what are you doing then? Like, you're just obliterating the ones that you saved. And at a certain point, chapter 28, 29, you don't want to keep reading. You're just like, it's so overwhelmingly sorrowful and fearful and pitiful and scary that it can bring you down to the depths of, you don't want to exist in this moment, like while you're reading it, especially when you know you are those people and you've been living this suffering. And that's all you've known, because you're reading the curse that is over you and you're realizing this is it. This is to a T. This is covering everything. But if you do not quit in your reading of this utterly despairing, barbaric amount of punishment, you will see that he talks about he will gather his children who are scattered amongst the four corners of the earth, all over the lands. He will gather his children, his servants. He will gather Israel. And all those that were their enemies, which they were slaves to and captives to, their enemies. He says, I will show your enemies that they are liars. I will prove that your enemies are liars. Meaning, all the lies and deceptions that they have brought over will get exposed. And the truth will prevail. Because the truth is the Holy One, the Messiah, the Son of the Most High. And some of y'all just need to read this and process this just for comfort of your being. That these are decrees and vows and declarations written over where we're at to this day. And there is that time where eventually, justice will come. And he comforts us with that. The justice and judgment will come. And it will come swiftly when the time comes. But in the meantime, it's the fear of God. Even when he hides his face from you, which he says he will do as one of the curses, he'll turn their face away from them because they've served other gods. And these are the sins of the previous forefathers and generations passed down to you. That now we know there's only one true God. And we will be able to say, why has this happened to us? And it's because we didn't obey and fear God. This is a massive evangelistic tool just for the lot of you. Letting people know why we are where we are is because we disobey God, which will stimulate a phenomenal amount of fear. Don't give up. God bless.